Hello, my name is Jose, and today I'm going to talk about profit maximization. How much output should a competitive firm produce in the short run? Now, before we can answer this question, we must first take a look at these two important terms, competitive and short run. Let us begin by establishing the difference between the long run and the short run. In the short run, any competitive firm has fixed costs and fixed factors in production, as opposed to the long run, where they only have variable costs and firms can increase or decrease plant size in response to expected profits and decide to enter or exit the industry. Let's say, for example, that I decide to open up a hot dog stand. What would my fixed costs be? My fixed cost would be the cart itself, and my variable costs would be anything that goes away whenever I sell a hot dog. Say, for example, the bread, the sausage, and any dressings that go on top of it. Say I have a rather successful business, and as demand goes up and my clientele grows, I soon have trouble keeping up with demand. In the short run, the only thing I can do is purchase additional variable costs, which is the bread and the sausages and the dressings. But this is not going to help me keep up with demand. However, in the long run, I can increase my production by increasing plant size, which would be purchasing additional carts. However, keep in mind that this high demand for hot dogs is also going to attract competition into the market. Let us define now a competitive market. It has the following characteristics. It has zero barriers to entry or exit, meaning it is easy for firms to enter or leave the market. It has many buyers or sellers, which means that any individual firm or buyer is going to have virtually no impact on the price of the product. The product is homogeneous, meaning no matter who produces it, it is virtually identical. This means that buyers are not going to care what firm they buy the product from. Established firms have no advantage over new firms. This simply means that new firms are going to find it easier to get into the market. And it is also assumed that everybody has perfect information as to what is going on in the market. Everybody knows, whether it be buyers or sellers, about the price, about the quantity. They know everything about everything that is going in the market. So why is this important? This basically determines that the price is fixed by the market. Any individual firm cannot choose the price that they want. They have to accept the price that is given to them by the market. This means that any individual firm has a horizontal demand curve, and that firms are price takers and can only adjust the quantity to the optimum level. So in perfect competition, marginal revenue is equal to the price. This makes sense, right? Because marginal revenue is the additional revenue that you get for selling one more of your products. And what's that going to be if the price is fixed? It's always going to be the same price. So to maximize profits, firms must choose the optimal quantity. And how do they do this? Well, economists always think marginally. So when marginal revenue is greater than marginal cost, profit increases with additional production. And this makes sense, right? If we go back to our hot dog example, say it cost me $1 to produce a hot dog. And my friend is very hungry and he is willing to pay $3 for one more hot dog. So it'll only make sense that I make it for him, right? As I will make a $2 profit. On the other hand, say that he has had too many hot dogs and he doesn't like them anymore. And since he's my friend, he's willing to pay me 10 cents for one more hot dog. But it cost me $1 to make it. So it doesn't make sense for me to produce that hot dog for him, as I will incur in losses. This area right here, this is when marginal cost is greater than marginal revenue. If you are here, then you are producing too much because you are losing money. So you need to cut down on production to get down to this spot. If you are behind this spot, then you are producing too little, because here marginal revenue is greater than marginal cost. And if you produce more, you will make more money. What you need to do is try to find this sweet spot right here. This is where marginal revenue equals marginal cost. And not only in competitive firms, but for any firm, this is where you maximize your profits. It just happens that in perfect competition, this is also equal to the price, and the price is fixed at this level. We can also take a look at the total profit function for a firm. You can see that this is the profit function, and it is maximized at this point. where total cost has the same slope as total revenue. And this is basically the same thing, because the slope of the total cost curve is the marginal cost, and the slope of the total revenue is the marginal revenue. So here you're basically seeing that when marginal cost is equal to marginal revenue, the profit is maximized. Now let us take a look at the ATC curve. In the long run, in a competitive market, price is going to be fixed here, where at the bottom of the ATC curve, and where the marginal cost crosses it. Why? Because when price is above this point, this means that the company is making above normal returns, and this will drive new firms into the market, which will increase supply and will drive the price down. On the other hand, if you are below this point, then the company is making below normal returns, or maybe even incurring losses. This will drive companies out of the market and will decrease supply, which will drive the prices up. Now between this point and this point, prices are not making profits, they may be incurring losses, but it is still wise for them to keep producing. Why? Because at least between this point and this point, they're able to generate enough revenue to cover their variable costs as well as part of their fixed costs. Remember, the difference between ATC and AVC is the average fixed costs. So it makes sense, right? If the firm is generating enough revenue to pay all of their variable costs, and as well as some of their fixed costs, which are costs that they're going to incur in anyways, whether they produce or not, it makes sense for them so that they can get rid of that debt. However, below this point, which is a shutdown point, firms are not even able to pay for their variable costs. Back to the hot dog example, say you're below this point, you're not even able to pay for your bread and your sausages. So if you're below this point, it only makes sense for you to shut down. That's why it's the shutdown point. Now let us take a look at a small example. Suppose a competitive firm has total cost equal to 550 plus 20Q plus 2Q squared. If the market price is 130, find the level of output produced by the firm. This is a very simple question, and remember, since it is a competitive firm, all we need to do is find the marginal cost and set it equal to marginal revenue. And since it is a competitive firm, we know that marginal revenue is equal to the price. So now we only need to find out the marginal cost. How do we find out the marginal cost? We have the total cost function, so we only need to derive it and find the marginal cost. So this 550 disappears, this 20Q becomes 20, and this 2Q squared becomes 4Q. So now we only set that equal to 130 and we solve the equation. There we go, our marginal cost is 20 plus 4Q, and we set that equal to 130. 130 minus 20 is 110. Divide by 4, you get 27.5. That is the answer. That is the quantity at which the profit is maximized for the firm. Let us solve this in another manner. We have our total cost function, and we know the price, so we can get the total revenue. Remember that total revenue is P times Q. So you only get the 130 and multiply that by Q. So our total profit function is going to be total revenue minus total cost. So we simplify that and we get that our total profit function is 110Q minus 550 minus 2Q squared. Now from here we can do two things. The first is find the marginal profit by deriving this equation, and we get 110 minus 4Q, which is basically the same thing we did before. It's this part right here. And we set that equal to 0, and we find out the Q is 27.5. Or we can graph our total profit function and see where it is at its maximum. If we graph it, it's going to look something like this. We can see here that the total profit function reaches its maximum right around here, which is 27.5. We can also see that right there, the total cost function and the total revenue function have the same slope, or where the total revenue function is tangent to the total cost function. That is where marginal cost equals marginal revenue. This concludes my presentation. Just to go over what we've said. To maximize profits, Marginal cost has to be equal to marginal revenue. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.